Let's go. Let's go. Happy Monday and Happy New Year 2025. Guys, this is the first live stream we're doing of the new year 2025. Great to be with you today. We're going to get started really shortly. Let's go. I'm hoping you're having a great year. Happy Monday. You're having a great year so far. I'm excited to be with you today because we get to talk about how you can take your business to new levels in 2025. I love that conversation. I can be in that conversation all day. And first things first, let's go. Here we go. This is me, Cheston Bulgin with By the Books Consulting, and I'm a trucking CFO, tax strategist, your accounting superhero. You can reach us at 888-4BTB now. That's 888-428-2669. And you can reach us on the web at youraccountingsuperhero.com. You can reach me via email, cbulgin@youraccountingsuperhero.com, and definitely follow me on Instagram at youraccountingsuperhero. And you know what it is, guys. We're here in the area of tax accounting, more so business advisory and systems inside of your business, your trucking company to help you win. And that's what we're here for tonight. Let's go. Truck Profit Academy. If you're in this group, you know what it is. And if you haven't been a part of this group, you can join now for $19 a month basic. And you can join for the VIP at $39 a month right now for the Truck Profit Academy. And basically, man, you get access to our courses, our workshops, things like this. We help you navigate the terrain inside of the trucking industry and make sure that you're able to gain more profitability, keep more of your hard-earned money in your pocket, and create freedom, wealth, and legacy in what you do. So everything that we do here is geared toward you being successful in the trucking industry and in your business, okay? And you can do that by going to truckprofitacademy.com and getting signed up there. If you haven't taken advantage of this yet, you can still take advantage of a free profit and cash flow analysis by going to youraccountingsuperhero.com/book-and-appointment. And you can get on a call with either myself or a member of my team, and we'll go over your business to see how you can increase profits and cash flow as soon as today. Good evening. Welcome to everybody chiming in from YouTube. Great to see you guys over there on the YouTube channel. Good to be with you. Right. So, quick disclaimer before we get started. Following is for educational purposes only and is not to be considered financial, accounting, or legal advice. Please consult your tax, accounting, and your legal professional for specific advice. So here we go, guys. Today, I want to be with you and talk about a continuation of what we talked about last week. We're moving into how you can scale your business beyond 7 figures. What would it look like to be able to scale your trucking company beyond 7 figures? Some of you have not even thought about that as a possibility. Some of you are like, man, I don't know about that, Chaston. If I scale that business up, it's going to be a bad day. I'm already dealing with a lot of headaches. I don't want to deal with it anymore. But how do I do that in a way that's going to work for me? And, guys, there is a way to make sure that you're able to create we call a B quadrant business in this area. And what I mean is that the business works for you, you don't work for the business. And you want to do it in a way where it makes sense for you in terms of what you want to get out of it. We're going to talk a little bit about what it looks like to create it today. But I want you to know that you can absolutely 100% unequivocally can scale your business this year, starting this year, and beyond 7 figures, if that's what you so choose to do. Okay. And it's going to take stepping outside of the day-to-day. I speak to that a lot in our conversations about stepping outside of the day-to-day. The majority of your energy and attention wants to go to creating of the structures in your business and the metrics in your business that make the difference when you're choosing, when you're making decisions. This is where your attention wants to go. Now, if you do that inside of this conversation, that you learn that in this conversation, you do that as a way of life, trust me, you'll be able to scale your business to wherever you want to scale it to. Okay. And I hope you're excited about that. And if you're not, man, I don't know why you're in this conversation, because this is the conversation to be in, to be excited about being able to scale your business. Okay. So I want you to put all the reservations, if that's my request tonight, put all your reservations aside in terms of thinking about all the things that you don't want, all the issues and the trouble that could arise inside of your trucking company that you typically would think about. I'm asking that you put those reservations aside today so that you can get clear on what it is you do want. Okay, it takes putting those reservations aside for a moment just to really be with what you want to create. Now, if you can do that, then that business that you want can and will be created. Trust me on that, please. Okay, so that's what we want here. Okay, now, just to recap, we're looking at stress-free growth. This is what we want, stress-free growth inside of your company. Okay, so last week we talked about tech stack in terms of systems, like a systems blueprint is how we want to start building your company. We want to create a systems blueprint to start building your company in a way where you can scale it with ease. All right, so what would it look like to delegate effectively to people that you can trust? What would it look like to understand how to leverage tools and technology in your business to go to those levels that you never even thought possible? What would it look like if you had specific strategies that were clear so that you can grow your business like clockwork over and over again just by pushing a button? Okay, that's what we want here, guys, for your business and for your life. Now, last week we talked about the beginning of it, which was technology. And I wouldn't even say that that's the beginning. Okay, the beginning was really what we talked about in terms of who you get to be. And the who you get to be really revolves around a world that we call integrity. Integrity. We talked about that before. And integrity basically means that what I say I do. And so we went into that, and we went into that in great detail last week. I want to shift it this week and talk about a few other things that are going to make the difference when it comes to taking your business to those next levels. And one of the main things to doing that is something we call leadership. Okay. It's like, what, man, Justin, you're always talking about these things, like these other principles besides like the technical stuff. Yeah, we talk about technical stuff too, by the way. But these are the things that make the difference. These are the things that count in life. And I want to make sure I bring these to the surface so that there are no misunderstandings. When you go in with your eyes wide open into the situation, knowing what's wanted and needed to deliver that next level result that you say that you want. Leadership. Well, what does that mean? It means that it requires you to be first, to create something new in your business. It requires you to be first to create something new in your business, and for you to be a stand for the creation of that thing. And for you to be the stand for the creation of that thing. Well, what does that look like? Well, first and foremost, in order to get to, let's say you have a company, you've done $5 million up until now in your trucking business, and you want to take that to 10 million. It takes you having the balls to say, hey, I want to go to 10 million, and I want to go to it as soon as possible. And I want to do this in a way where it's going to create a lot more ease of life for me. This is what I want to do. All right. Now it takes you being resolved in that one position to actually create that position in your life. This is what leadership looks like. It looks like carving out that destination first and foremost. Leadership. Set that destination. We call it an intention, is what we call it. Okay, so let's say that that is your intention. You want to take your company to 10 million from where it is, whether it's 5 million, whether it's 3 million, whether it's 2 million, whether it's less than a million. You want to go to 10 million. It takes you having the audacity to say, this is where we're headed. And once you say this is where we're headed, there is no other option. That is it. Okay, that is what we're talking about here. Okay, now once we have that destination etched in stone, just like that, then we can go out and start allocating resources toward that. All right. Now, one of the things I want to say about the allocation of resources when it comes to this is that we got to start measuring everything. Once we make that the choice, we got to start measuring everything in terms of, okay, we said we want to get to 10 million, but what have we done up until now that's gotten us to where we are now? What has been working, what has not been working, and what are the things we're going to put in that are going to get us to that next level? Okay, so in order to do that, super important that we do what we talked about last week was put in those technological structures and the ways, the systems in place. We want to put those systems in place so that we can measure every single thing. Why? Because when I go out there inside of your trucking company, if you go out in your trucking company, you're looking at, okay, what have we done up until now, you want to see, well, how many loads did we actually do in 2024 to produce $5 million? Now, if you don't know that like this, or you can't pull that information up like this, well, you're not going to be able to scale like this. Okay? That's just what is so. And you want to know, well, how much do we bring in, per load that we did? Not just how many loads that we did, but how much do we bring in per load? And how much do we bring in, per like piece of equipment? Like if you're doing drive-in work, well, how much did each one of those drive-in units bring you in 2024? Okay, and now we're going to start looking at this at a granular level, which means we're going to start looking at, well, what actually worked about this? Well, in a year, I know that each unit should be able to produce me about 100 loads in a year, more or less. Each unit should be able to produce me about 100 loads, okay? If I'm doing 2 to 3 loads a week, I should be able to do at least 100 loads or more per unit. Now, if I'm looking across the board and I have five units and I see that we've done 375 loads with the 5 units, well, I know there's an underperformance. Straight. This is why I'm saying that you want to start measuring everything, okay? Because now we want to start doing what we're talking about here called allocate resources. We need to understand, well, how have we been allocating resources up until now in a way that have served you, in a way that has served you, in a way that has not served you, okay? Now the numbers never lie when we start looking at it in this way. Now we can start making those pivots necessary to take the business to the next level. Now, if you have a situation like that, let's say you're measuring things and you come up with what I just said, you know that you have, five units and you've done like 375 loads, and you know that's underperforming for the year. It's like, whoa, we have a lot of potential here. We have a lot of potential here, okay, upside potential, because now we know that percentage-wise, there's about 25% more that we can do capacity-wise, okay? So right there, it's like you don't even have to grow your fleet and add any more units. Right now, all you need to do is get the most out of the units that you currently have to grow 25% more in revenue. Now, look at this, guys. If you're not doing the measurement in this way, if you don't have the systems in place to have these numbers understood in the way that I just delivered those, well, the first step is to get the system in a way to record your fleet in that manner so that you have those numbers at your fingertips. Because a lot of the times it could be just a matter of, okay, well, I've just been wasting a lot of the effort here. How can we actually do more, right? You may have been thinking that you've been doing a lot. And then when you get these numbers in front of you, you're realizing that, hey, man, we haven't really been doing as much as I thought we were doing. Maybe we can do more, with more optimization here in terms of the systems. Hopefully that makes sense, guys. Now, this is super important, okay, is what I want to say. Now, once you set the destination and start measuring everything, now you can start allocating the resources to delivering that next level that we're saying. All right, now what does that look like? I want to talk a little bit about this leadership level because it is something that gets overlooked when it comes to a lot of carriers in the industry. And it takes a while to develop this. And I want to make sure that at least you have an opportunity. You have an opportunity to do this in your fleet in a way where you know exactly what you're doing when you're doing it, and how you're building out your teams, and how you're building out your next level when you go to beyond seven figures in your company. Okay. Now, talk about teams. Okay. Now, most of the things that we talk about in our company is around the accounting, like I just said, with like just looking at the numbers and measuring like what we've done up until now. But one of the things that gets overlooked is how you put together your systems when it comes to teams. Now, depending on the size of your company, you could have a team of just you. You could be an army of one when it comes to all these other structures. When it comes to all these structures, but is what I want to say. Okay. It could be that you just have maybe you and a set of drivers. It could be that you have you and you maybe you have a dispatcher and drivers. It could be you and your wife. You could be a couple that's running the company together. You could be somebody who's been in the business for a little while and you've established a lot of staff, and it has not yet been organized in a way where it makes sense for you to what people are responsible for and what the roles are inside the company, so that you're allocating those resources effectively. So the thing we put together here is a basic understanding of what you want when it comes to your teams in your trucking company, and how to develop those, and how to make sure that you're getting the most out of everybody on your fleet. Okay. So I want to go here with you guys tonight and talk about, in the theme of leadership, well, what does leadership look like when it comes to teams? Okay. Now, first thing that we have here is executive management. All right. That's the first thing that we have here when it comes to teams. Okay. Now, you may not have had this in place up until now to understand like what it is, like in terms of like what executive management is for your company. But I want to go over that really quickly, because when it comes to leadership, it begins here with executive management. And basically, executive management is a team that is responsible for the direction of the company. So you set the intention, you create the direction of where we're headed, you create what structures are going to be put in place to honor that direction, how we're going to reinforce that with everybody across the board. And that's comprised of like your C-suite executives in a lot of companies. And if you're not somebody who has a C-suite executive level, which means like your CEO, your CFO, your CTO, and down the line with that executive team, it may just be like your managers of your LLC. And it's like, well, look, this is what we want to do. We want to head to $10 million. We want to have this type of impact when we head to $10 million as a trucking company. And this is how we want to go. We want to go in the direction of, we want to use over-the-road equipment, which means we're going to go either regional or long haul, right? This is where we want to go. We want to take these type of lanes either in the Southeast, Midwest, Southwest. You're deciding which routes you want to go, and you're deciding like the type of people that you want to have that represent your company. Well, what does that culture look like? Well, when people go out here, we want them to represent us in a way where they know that everybody's respected. Like your drivers, when they present themselves inside of a shipper and they present themselves inside of the consignee, that they know that you have respect above all else, right? Some of the values that you want to start communicating inside of your company. Now, the executive management team wants to establish these things from the top down. Now, why is this important? I was on a call. I'm on calls with a lot of people, guys. And one of the main things I see inside the industry is like, well, drivers don't do exactly what we want them to do. It's hard finding good drivers is what people say, and it's hard finding good people and is what people say. Now, that's not just in this industry, that's in a lot of different service-oriented industries. I hear business owners talk about it's really hard finding good people. Now, now when I see it run the way it wants to go, like people that do really well here, when it comes to finding the right people and keeping the right people and people doing what they need to do, it's because they are very clear at this level what they want to establish for the culture. And what that means is that they're very clear on what they expect from the people that come on board and represent that company. And they understand what they're doing to foster that culture and build that culture so that when the people in that company go out and represent that company, it's a uniform representation. It means that every time they go out, you can pretty much expect them to behave in a certain way that reflects the company values. Okay. Now, if this is not really clear at the executive level, then you're going to have issues. All right. So this is one of the main things I want to really go over today, because I think this is one of the things that will make the difference when it comes to scaling your business beyond 7 figures with ease. And I want to say that it begins and ends with you, like this culture and this embodiment of what you want with the people that you bring on board. Now, you may be thinking, man, I can't control other people and what they do. It's like a hit or miss, Cheston. I don't know. Like how my drivers are going to be. I don't know how they're going to behave themselves. It seems like every person I get, they sound good when I hire them. But when they go out there and they do what they do and then they just start performing, it's like I get something completely different. It's not what they said. It's not how they represented themselves in the beginning. Okay. And I understand that. And that's how things can go, 100%. And I want to invite you to consider that there's something missing when it comes to establishing the culture. Okay. Now, last week we talked about technology and those components of the system that make the difference. But the technology is only going to serve to the degree that you're able to create your culture in this way. So one of the things I've been fortunate enough to have in my life is a pretty strong presence when it comes to culture creation in a company. I've been able to do that fairly consistently in whatever company I've created. Now, there's been a gravity for good people. And there's something that we say here, we get what we project and expect. That's what it is. We get what we project and expect. So I remember, I don't run my trucking company anymore. I no longer run the trucking company. I help guys like you and people like you run your trucking companies today. And when we ran our trucking company, the fortunate thing that I had going for me was that I had pretty good people, solid people that would do what we asked them to do, and they conducted themselves in a way that was very respectful. I'm blessed. I feel I'm blessed and I'm fortunate that way, but I also realized that there were certain things that we communicated consistently and reliably to reinforce what we wanted out of the culture of the fleet. What do I mean? As well, we expect them to abide by the safety rules. So there are constant messages going out reinforcing, okay, well, hey guys, make sure you do your pre-trips today. Hey guys, I want to acknowledge Damon because he's gone 3 months in a row with no out of service violations. He's had all of his logs entered 100% for the last 90 days, and no hard braking, no speeding inside of inside of his performance. And we're going to give him a bonus of $1,000. Right? So that's pretty much how it went, because we reinforced a lot of the things that we wanted out of people, and we communicated things that we wanted out of people on a consistent basis. And that was only going to be able to be the case because we were very clear on what we wanted. All right. And that clarity kept getting dialed in over time. And I want you to get that you want to make sure that you have the understanding of what it is that you want from the people inside of your company, from the executive level, and understand that over time, you're going to keep refining that message and refining your approach to deliver that culture in a way where everybody's going to be on board with you, and that you're going to get out of your company exactly what you want so that people are doing what they need to do without you having to constantly reinforce them to do what they need to do. And your company can run on autopilot. Wouldn't that be fantastic? And that was really the result. A lot of times out of all my companies that people will just come in and do what they need to do. And I don't have to babysit people. People actually do the thing that they need to do, right? Wouldn't that be fantastic? All right. Now, again, this starts from the executive management level. You want to be clear, is what I want to say. All right. Now, the next part of this, from the top down, there are different stages. There are different teams that you want to put together each stage of the way, is what I want to say. All right. So fleet management teams, what is that? We want to understand that there are distinct roles and responsibilities in each level of your company that want to be clear and distinct. Now, the fleet management level team member wants to be somebody who is responsible for all the fleet operations. Now, fleet operations deals with drivers and equipment. All right. Fleet operations deals with drivers and equipment. Okay. Now, if we understand, like, when equipment gets onboarded, like when the equipment is compliant, which means it's not at risk for being out of service at the equipment level, like inspections are up to date. All the maintenance has been performed up until now to make sure that that equipment is running smoothly, right? Then we have the driver level of the fleet, which means the same thing, that, okay, drivers have all of their medical cards up to date, like their CDL medicals up to date. They've had all their drug screens. They have an MVR record that is above reproach. It's at the standard that we want it to be, right? We have a system here to make sure that there's defensive driving in place, defensive driving courses in place in case somebody needs to be corrected and like they need to understand exactly what to do while they're out there on the road in case they didn't know that before. We have structures in place to manage that. So a fleet manager wants to be responsible for equipment and drivers. All right. Are they doing what they need to do? Are they compliant? Are they doing what they need to do, and are they compliant? Right, which is basically the same thing as compliance, right? Basically, they're doing what they need to do above the board, up all the way across the board. All right. Now, they're responsible also for the people who would be responsible for those drivers and the people who would be responsible for those pieces of equipment, like the load planners, like dispatchers, like safety managers and maintenance teams, right? They are responsible for those people. That's what a fleet operations or fleet manager, a team member, would be responsible for in the fleet. Okay. Now, if you don't have this structure understood inside of your business at this stage of the game, you want to start looking at that for yourself. Now, I want you to start looking at what we're talking about in a way where you can see, well, man, yeah, if I actually start putting my pieces of the puzzle together in this way, it kind of makes sense that I'll be able to scale to whatever level that I want to scale to in trucking. What if I had a strong team member that was a fleet manager managing my fleet? What if that strong team member was me? I understood how to manage my load planners, my dispatchers, my safety managers, my drivers, my equipment in a way that works, that serves. Okay. Now, we're going to do, and this year, I want to go through like some of the ways that we are able to do that on a small scale, on a small level with somebody who's running a fleet. Like maybe they're the only person running their entire fleet, but how to put that together with themselves being that executive management team, that fleet manager, the load planner, dispatcher, the safety manager, the maintenance person, the maintenance team, and the finance team, all the way across the board. We want to do that with you guys. I'm putting together something in the fall, the spring of this year. In the spring of this year, we're putting together a workshop. We're going to do this on a weekend, on a Sunday. We're going to do a workshop. We're going to go through all of these components of your fleet operations to see exactly how somebody could run their fleet using the technology that we talked about in a way that's effective, in a way that you can scale. Okay. Now, if you're on board for something like that, put a 1 in the chat for me. If you guys are on board for something like that, being in a workshop that goes through those things, put a 1 in the chat. Okay. Now, this is a workshop that would take somewhere around like a 90 minutes at least, a workshop, right, on a Sunday to go through this. And guys, man, we're going to put this together in our Truck Profit Academy package here to be able to do that with you guys so that you can go through that whole process and understand how that works together. Okay. Now, it's pretty cool because there's some technology that you guys are using out here. Some people have different trucking management software. Some people have, like, financial software that they're using. Some people have, you know, um, like just solo operation teams. Some people have like a fleet of 10 or more, so they're going to be a broad range of you guys that are working together. And yeah, 100%. I see you, brother. Like you're the owner, bookkeeper, dispatch, HR, everything, everything but driving. Yeah, I get that. Right. And trust me, man, like I've been there too. I've been all of that inside of a trucking company. And guys, what I want you to be left with inside of this conversation is that when you put together a well-oiled and machine-like company, it can be easy, right? It can be easy for you to manage your company in a way where it just doesn't drive you crazy. All right, you can put all those pieces together and you can leverage systems in a way where your business gets scalable and you don't have to have all those headaches to go around along with it. Okay. Now, that's going to be our time for tonight, guys. There's a lot left over here, and I want to leave you with the opportunity that it is to get on one of our workshops this spring to go over like how you can step by step build out your structures in your trucking company in a way where you can scale beyond wherever you thought possible. Guys, it's been great being with you on a Monday night. My name is Justin Bolgen, trucking CFO, tax strategist, your accounting superhero. I'll see you next week. Take care and have a great week until now. Until then.